Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me for pricing, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're reviewing one of the most unusual watches I've encountered in a while, but that's good because the weird ones tend to be the fun ones. This is the Manufacture Royale Androgyne Royale Tourbillon. It is the full black model, and you can see why. 43 millimeters in diameter in DLC stainless steel. The watch is only 10.3 millimeters thick, and when fully compressed, the articulated lugs measure a minimum of 52.8 millimeters across the wrist, and the watch has a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Now, on my wrist of 16 centimeters circumference, the watch fits surprisingly well. Those articulated lugs are a little bit like the corresponding pieces on Debitune DB28 and DB27 models, in that there's a variable geometry that will conform to a degree to your wrist. That said, the watch is so stark in appearance and broad that I would say you probably don't want to wear the watch on a wrist smaller than mine. This is fine, but if your wrist is smaller than 16 centimeters circumference, you're going to want to look for a different Manufacture Royale Tourbillon like the 1770s. Taking a quick look at the case itself, it is immensely complex. The watch, known as Androgyne, perhaps referring to the heyday of David Bowie. Personally, I don't see the resemblance, but all the same, it is a thing like a chimera, and perhaps that's why it is so named, because it is difficult to classify. The strap is immense, and as you can see, it is a bonded strap, rarely used in this size. It's something you tend to see on ultra-thin watches, so instead of using stitching to bond the top and bottom of the strap, you can see that they are bonded together using adhesive. The strap is matte, medium rectangular scale alligator leather and black on the top, thickly bolstered to give it volume. You can see that this is a Jean Rousseau custom strap, and that it is in brand new condition. No crimping, no gouging. It looks outstanding. The buckle matches the aesthetic of the watch, and as you can see, it is all of high gloss, articulated with fluting and hollows, angles and curves. And as with the fixture to the case, this is accomplished using screws and bars for plenty of security, something I like to see on a large and expensive watch. You can also see that the bridge is elevated over the prongs, so when the strap is inside the buckle, it mostly fits flat as it moves into the recess rather than sitting underneath and stacking up. Now, you can also appreciate that the strap is held to the case using screws and bars. This is a very secure system, and one I like to see when the lugs have this much mobility. It's the right way, the more expensive way, but the right way to make an expensive watch. For the most part, everything you see is polished. There are only a handful of matte finished surfaces on this watch, and those articulated lugs are both part of the ergonomics and the aesthetics. DLC is exceptionally durable. Though this watch launched in 2015, you could see that it is remarkably well preserved with nary a scratch, scuffed, or dent. Of course, the timepiece is part of a brand with an ancient name, Manufacture Royale, very distantly related to a company established under the same name by Voltaire, but it was 2010 when the modern Manufacture Royale, in conjunction with movement manufacturer TEC Abausch, was relaunched. And so the movement you get is TEC Abausch, and the brand is Manufacture Royale. Again, it is a late breaker compared to most brands, though it has an old name. It is a product of the 21st century. The movement, however, makes no excuses. It is beautiful. This is the MR02. It's a manual wind, and though it only has one large mainspring barrel, in spite of the power-intensive tourbillon, it still has 108 hours of power reserve. As you can see, beautifully decorated with an unexpected refinement for a small brand, which is a full unlubricated silicone escapement to improve performance in between servicings. It also has an overcoil hairspring, so the tourbillon is a functional one, helping to even out the effects of gravity on timing, less so because it rotates and more because it is finely adjusted, free-sprung for durability and precise adjustment, and that it includes that overcoil hairspring, which has very centered mass and doesn't tend to gain or lose time at different angles. Now, this is a 21,600 vibration per hour beat rate balance, and it is a 1-minute tourbillon, so if you are so inclined, you can use this as a seconds dial. It's handsomely finished. Lots to love here, starting with the bridge for the tourbillon. Take a close look. You could see that there are one, two, three, four sharp interior angles where mirrored bevels meet. And when you flip the watch over, you'll see there are four more. There's a sun ray, Côte de Genève, Côte de Soleil as it's known, emanating out from an imaginary center point at the base of the tourbillon. You can see that it's nicely decorated on the reverse side, though most of the fun is on the dial side. We have set nation on the wheels as well as on the balance. You can just barely see the click that prevents the barrel from running backwards. We have set nation on the barrel, the ratchet wheel, the entire drivetrain, and then the underside of the tourbillon. You can see there is mirrored beveling, which is probably started mechanically, but finished manually. The screw heads are all black polished and quite attractive. They feature chamfered slots and chamfered circumference. The watch is 30 meters water resistant, so while it's very sporty, you don't want to take it swimming. Some of the highlights of the finish also include the quality of the hands, which appear to have been manually finished on their flanks. They're black polished across their tops, probably finished with a diamond paste, and then on their flanks you could see those mirrored bevels. That's a rare feature. Hands usually aren't this three-dimensional. Taking a quick look at the keyless works, you can see that all the components in steel have been finished to the same standards as the blackened brass components of the movement. You can see engine turning underneath the components, satination across the tops of the steel pieces, and then mirror beveling on their edges, and it's very difficult to finally finish steel parts, so this is quite impressive. And also impressive that the lubricant has been used so sparingly that it doesn't show, even though the components are entirely visible. Now, the watch also has a fully visible motion works at center, so you can see the hour wheel, the minute wheel, and the minute wheel pinion that drives the hour wheel. The only thing you really can't see is the cannon pinion. You can see the engagement of the crown wheel, you can see the operation of the winding pinion, and all of it's beautifully executed in a watch that is exceptionally rare and not likely to be seen anywhere but your own wrist. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of the Manufacture Royale Androgyne Royale Tourbillon.